Da-nan-da-da, da-nan-da-da. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show. And welcome to another episode of 30 Inks 30. I'm sorry. Getting a little ahead of myself. I'm excited to do 30 Inks 30 days, but today is Fountain Pen Calligraphy 101. Today we are learning how to address an envelope. I need to get some water and some coffee. I'll be right back. 2 shakes. How is everyone doing today? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're having a nice day wherever you are in the world. How's it going? So, today we are learning how to address an envelope. And also what to do if you don't have an envelope. We're going to share this with our friends. Let them know that we are live. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Are you having a nice day? I hope you're having a nice day wherever you are in the world. Did I already say that? I say that a lot. Sometimes I forget. So the first thing that you need to know when addressing an envelope is where to find good quality envelopes. Now I wish I didn't have to say this. I wish I didn't have to. But CVS caliber white envelopes are not good because, well, maybe not because, but they are made in the United States. So be on the lookout for that. These are made to secure envelopes. These are also made in America, but as we will see in a minute, they are way better. Okay. I need coffee. I haven't had any coffee today, and I feel like my brain is lagging. Okay, so I bought these at the I bought these CVS caliber notebook, CVS caliber envelopes at CVS Pharmacy. They are number 10. I bought these Mead security envelopes at the Dollar Tree. They were $1. These are $5 envelopes if you buy them online. Don't buy them online. Just find your nearest Dollar Tree and go down there. It's well worth it, trust me. While I was down there, I got some construction paper, or printer paper, and it is good printer paper. We'll see here in a minute. Oh, that's yum. Okay, now then, on to the envelope. A lot of people get envelopes wrong. Not wrong, but not good. So we're going to use the CVS caliber notebook. CVS caliber envelopes. We're going to use CVS envelopes first because they are crap. So I want to show you what happens when we use the CVS caliber envelopes. Can anybody see what's wrong with this picture? Who can name what's happening here? That's right, we're having feathering. This is what feathering looks like. Red was probably not the best color to use for this example, but if you have, say, an ink that is from Gerba called Kyanite du Nepal, this would look really cool around Christmas time because it'll look like crystals coming off of the envelope. So I am keeping these envelopes for Christmas time. And I want to show you what happens when you use different inks on this type of an envelope. This is Waterman. Waterman Black. Diatramentus. Document Black. This is Pen BBS 510. Whoops, wrong hole. Oh, this is Diamine Terracotta. So you can definitely see that there is feathering all over the place going on here. These are not the ideal envelopes to be using in this situation if you want to send people a letter. This is a security envelope. Sometimes these can have bleeding issues also, but not as bad as this even, so. Always test your envelopes. Okay, so make sure that you always test your envelopes. Take one envelope and just sacrifice them. Sacrifice them to the feather gods. This is CVS. Are you ready? This is mead. Normally, mead would be very bleedy, but that's just for their writing paper, not their envelopes, which is awesome. Do we see the difference? Huge difference. So, make sure that you are choosing good quality envelopes. Or choose all of the envelopes and then try them out, and maybe you will find some that feather, and maybe you will find some that don't. Okay? The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to address an envelope and what to do if you don't have an envelope. So, some envelopes will come with lines, and that's cool. They are awesome if they come with lines, but here is the general rule about using an envelope that is size 10. This is 240 millimeters or 9.5 inches by 4.25 inches or 105 millimeters. So hopefully that gives you an idea. I always try and make my envelopes as thick as my ruler. The part that goes to the person that you want to send the letter to goes in this section here. And the person, sorry, wrong, that's wrong. The person that is coming from you, the person writing the letter, goes here. And the person that is going to goes in this section here. I am really tired. So, and it usually shouldn't take more than 2 inches, give or take. So you'll find that about an inch for the 2 and about 2 inches or the 2 inches for the from and the 2 inches, an inch for the from and the 2 inches for the to. What is wrong with me today? I usually use about a half an inch first line and a half an inch for the second line. And then about half an inch for the third line. So you might use about 1.5 inches. And you don't want to make it any more than is absolutely necessary. So this stamp is 70 millimeters across, or 2 3/4 inches. So it should look about like that. It shouldn't use much space more than that. Then, when we go to write the 2, about a half inch under that. So the 2 person should go in these 3 spaces. So for example, we're going to say, I'm going to write my name, and you want to start from the middle out and guesstimate how long the person's name is. So I know that my middle name would go about here. My first name would go about here. My last name would go about here. And you don't want to go more than, say, 2 inches from the side. So about that much from that side and about that much from that side. So your total address should come in about this area here. Okay, so all right, Miss Marilyn, darling. And you may have to redo it several times to get it right. But my advice is to do it in pencil first, so that way, if you do have to move it over for any which way, shape, or reason, all you have to do is just erase it. Now it fits perfectly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do second bit under that, which is the address. And when you're writing an address, you want to make sure you start in the middle, and you want to kind of count out about how many spaces you're going to need. So if you have the number should be in the first third, the name of the street should be in the second third, and then the last third should either be street number or avenue or something like that. So I'm going to start over here and go. And when you're doing the address portion of your envelope, you can cursive write or do calligraphy for the name, but print the address. Make sure to leave spaces in. And then in the under section of that, I'm going to write the city and state and the zip code. And you may have to move it around a little bit in order to get it to line up just right. And then under that, you would write the destination of the country, which would be, for me, it would be United States of America. And then if it is going to a separate country than the country that you live in, you want to put above it airmail. And underline it next to the 2 the from address. And then in the upper 1 inch of your you're going to leave it for the stamp. This is just an example. It's not a real stamp. But that is where it should go. And make sure that it's pressed down really good. That way it's not going to move your finger over it a couple of times. Make sure it's not going to go anywhere. If you think that it is going to move somewhere, use a little bit of quickie glue around the edges to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. So most stamps these days are not the licky kind, but if you do have a licky kind, then you may have to use some quickie glue. Okay, now, is this yeah. So, let's talk about what happens if you do have a crappy envelope and you want to write in cursive or use calligraphy on your envelope, but you know for a fact that it's not going to hold, what you can do is you can actually tape or glue your address onto the paper. What did I do with it? Guillotine. Take your little guillotine. Cut off the red parts. You're only going to be able to make it so big, so... Okay. You're going to want to use some clear glue, a clear tape or clear glue. You're going to write out your address on a good paper. This is CVS caliber notebook paper. And then what you can do is you can cut it down to size. Now cut it right down to size, because if you don't, you have excess, and if you don't need it, don't keep it. Not necessary. I used a very wet ink, so it's still drying. Make sure your ink is dry before you put it down on the page. Or use a blotter. I forgot, I have blotter sheets. Make sure it's absolutely dry. Run your finger over it before you put it, tape it down to the page. And then you want to make sure that you have your thumb done also on nice paper. Whatever nice paper that you have that you know that is good with fountain pen ink, you can use that paper. And make sure you cut it right down. Excess is not necessary. Okay. When you're going in to tape these down, make sure that you tape all sides, just a little bit on all sides to make sure that it's going to stay. So go up over it if you have to. Just make sure that it touches on all sides. Might take you a couple tries to get it to stay down on all sides. Okay. And then you have to do the same thing for the to address. Make sure and cover all parts that might get caught in the machine. Make sure not to cover your stamp with tape because they won't accept it. And you have to make sure that the space on the bottom is not covered with tape, because at the bottom of every envelope that you receive, they put an invisible tracking number. Sometimes it's visible, sometimes it is not. So make sure that you don't cover the backside at the bottom or on the front, so that way it can be read by the machine and you can actually get your envelopes delivered to wherever they are. That is basically it. So I'm going to tell you how to make an envelope now. Say you don't have an envelope, but you have some printer paper. Printer paper. It's pretty easy to deal with, right? Okay. This is your letter. Want you to make an invisible flap. So make the flap however big you think it'll need to be. Okay, and then you're going to take the other end, put it inside of the flap, push it down, hold it, and swipe down. Okay. And then when you fold you put your letter in the envelope, put it in between here and there, fold it up, and fold it just shy of that bottom line. And then take that, flip it over, do the same thing, fold it to the middle. Hopefully, you should be able to put your envelope inside of that envelope. You're going to take the sides, fold it in, flip it down, fold it in, flip it down. And you're going to put these folded lines on the inside, folded lines on the inside. Take your letter, stick it in between the folds. Fold it up, crimp it down, and pull over your. And then all you have to do is tape it up. Tape here. There, like that. And you know it won't fall out because it's inside of one of those folds. Another piece of tape. Like that. And like this. And over to the side. Now, why didn't I go from the middle to the outside? Because you'll get a weird crimp in this section, and it won't be able to go through the machine. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that all corners are not catchy. So you might have to take a little piece of tape and put it just underneath. You want to make sure leave a little space right here. I'll tell you why in a second. So when somebody receives your envelope, they can take their knife, and I always turn mine over because that's just how it's easier to do so. You can usually slide your knife in here, but because you put a piece of tape there, it's not easy. So you want to have a little bit of wiggle room in there to put some sort of cutting device in, so that way people can just pull up. And you could even leave this flap open, so that way it's easier for people to get into it. As long as it's not sticking out too far. If it is, you could just clip it like that. And that should be fine. If you find it sticking out, just clip it off. And that way people can run their knife up to that point and pull. Run their knife up to this point and pull to get their envelope open. Go. Well, that was a lot that we just went over. I hope that you guys enjoyed that one. That was a lot of technical things. Hiya, Gary. How are you? Are you having a nice day? Also, you can use a glue stick or a quickie glue along the side on the bottom here if you find that it's sticking out. You might have a little lip that's not being very cooperative. Just stick your little glue, pull your page up, stick your little glue in there. Just run it right underneath the line there and press it down, and then it should stay. Just like that. Cool? Wow. That was a lot. Anyhow, there's my address. If anybody wants to write me a letter, you could glue the entire envelope. However, sometimes I find that glue sometimes is sticky. And if the glue jams the machine, it won't process it. It will just spit it back out. And whoever has to deal with cleaning it up will be very mad. Anyway, that is all for today. Any questions, comments, concerns? Please leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. That is all for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed that one. I hope that you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell. Make sure it's set to all, so when I upload new content, YouTube notifies you. And I will be back very soon with another video. So take care until then. Okay, love you. Bye.